Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day so far. Let's take a look at some of the comments from the Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene saying some pretty incredible things and the backlash against her, not just from the Democrats and from the news media, the entire news media, but also from prominent Republicans, including Kevin McCarthy, including the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell. Let's start with some pretty mind-blowing stuff from Marjorie Taylor Greene, where she was asked to comment comparing mask mandates. She was asked to comment on her original comment about comparing mask mandates to, believe it or not, the Holocaust. And she said this, and you have to see this to believe it. She said, and I quote, "I think any rational Jewish person didn't like what happened in Nazi Germany, and any rational Jewish person does not like what's happening with overbearing mask mandates." I have no idea how she was able to draw a distinction between what happened during the Holocaust and wearing masks, but let's take a look at this, and I want you, my beloved viewers and subscribers, to be the judge. Let's roll the tape and check out what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say. Pretty mind-blowing.
The American Jewish Congress has expressed concern over your comments comparing mask mandates to the Holocaust. Do you stand behind those comments?
You know, here's what I stand by. We shouldn't be having this kind of treatment. No one should be treated like a second-class citizen for saying I don't need to wear a mask or saying that my medical records are my privacy based on my HIPAA rights. And so I stand by all of my statements. I said nothing wrong. And I think any rational Jewish person didn't like what happened in Nazi Germany, and any rational Jewish person doesn't like what's happening with overbearing mask mandates and overbearing vaccine policies.
Do you understand, though, why some would be upset and offended by the comment?
Well, do you understand how people feel about being forced to wear masks or being forced to have to take a vaccine or even have to say that whether they've taken it or not? These are just things that shouldn't be happening in America. This is a free country, and it's just ridiculous to have these kind of conversations.
The response was almost instantaneous. Here's a tweet on your screen from Alex Michelson, who's an anchor for Fox News LA, and he said this, and I quote, "Most rational Jews don't compare the Holocaust and mask mandates. As a rational Jew myself, I've traveled to Auschwitz and profiled survivors. This isn't a political statement, but just one based on reality. Being forced into a gas chamber isn't like being asked to wear a mask." Let me know what you think of comments from Alex in the comment section below. Pretty incredible, some of the things that are coming out, some of the things that are emerging from Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene. Speaking of Republicans, here's another rather interesting Republican. Here's a tweet on your screen from Aaron Rupar, and he points out what Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, is up to. Yep, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. And Mike Lindell, as you can see on your screen, is bragging about MAGA Frank and is supposedly going to be at a rally in Wisconsin in the middle of June. So if you don't have much going on the 12th of June 2021 from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, show up at River's Edge Concert Park in Somerset, Wisconsin, just so that you can listen to Mike Lindell. Let's get back to the one and only Bizarro Marjorie Taylor Greene, and here she is in a video clip that was actually resurfaced by Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News. And in this video clip, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about the importance of statues. Yes, the importance of statues. I'm also not sure why she's dressed that casually in front of a hearing. So I guess she was just chilling. While she's on public duty, collecting a salary well over 6 figures. In this video clip, she talks about statues. Yes, she talks about statues. And she said she would not support the removal of hypothetical statues of Hitler or Satan, and I quote, "so that I could tell my children and teach others about who these people are." Yep, comments once again from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's take a look and let's roll the tape.
I think that this is a time where our nation is being divided, and we shouldn't be. We should be brought together because this is the greatest country in the world. And we, like the other man was saying about breadcrumbs, I don't think we should be fighting about breadcrumbs. I think we should be working to come together and work further to keep things good and keep peace. We're seeing situations where Christopher Columbus, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, all kinds of statues are being attacked. And it seems to be just an effort to take down history. And whether I see a statue that may be something that I would fully disagree with, like Adolf Hitler, maybe a statue of Satan himself, I would not want to say take it down. But again, it's so that I could tell my children and teach others about who these people are, what they did, and what they may be about. So as a congressional candidate, I just wanted to come forward and make a statement, and thank you all for hearing everyone in your community, and also let voters know where I stand on the matter, because I'm looking to work for everyone here, and I felt like it was important for you to hear me.
Yeah, pretty intense. I agree. All of this is pretty intense. Speaking of intense, different Republicans are already looking forward to the 2024 presidential election. Here's former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie saying, I quote, "I certainly would not preclude myself from running for president in 2024. We'll make a decision after the midterms in 2022. Let's roll the tape and hear from Chris Christie.
I certainly would not preclude myself from doing so. But what I also know is that 2 years is a lifetime in politics, a lifetime. So anytime you make a decision that prematurely, chances are you may not make the right one. So I'm going to continue to do what I do every day, work hard for my family, work hard for my community, speak out on issues like this that I really feel very strongly about. And then we'll make a decision after the midterms in 2022 about whether or not we want to re-enter politics. But certainly wouldn't preclude it, Chris. And no one else will make that decision for me except for me and my wife.
And back to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's not done yet. Here's a tweet on your screen from her. Vaccinated employees get a vaccination logo just like the Nazis forced Jewish people to wear a gold star. So she's doubling down, everyone. She's doubling down. She says vaccine passports and mask mandates create discrimination against unvaxxed people who trust their immune systems to a virus, that is, and then she goes on to talk about the immunity against the virus. So I guess trusting your immune system, trusting their immune system is something that millions of people and 600,000 of our fellow Americans should have done, but I guess, their trust didn't work very well for them because we have 600,000 individuals dead in our country. But never mind, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants us to trust our immune system. And the Republican Steve Scalise, you'll see a tweet on your screen from Scott Wong. And Scott is a senior staff writer for The Hill. And Steve Scalise does not agree with these comments and condemns these comparisons to the Holocaust. We also need to be speaking out strongly against a dangerous anti-Semitism that is growing in our streets and in the Democratic Party. That is what Steve Scalise spokesperson Lauren Fine said. And in the meantime, Chuck Schumer lashed out and he commented on Marjorie Taylor Greene's sickening, reprehensible comments, and he said that she should stop this vile language immediately. And let's take a look at this clip featuring the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene's sickening and reprehensible comments, comparing preparations taken against COVID to the Holocaust. Let's roll the tape.
This morning, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Congresswoman from Georgia, once again compared preparations taken against COVID to the Holocaust. These are sickening, reprehensible comments, and she should stop this vile language immediately.
And as if that wasn't enough, here's a tweet on your screen from Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader. Kevin McCarthy says this: Marjorie is wrong, and her intentional decision to compare the horrors of the Holocaust with wearing masks is appalling. Let me be clear. The House Republican Conference condemns this language, and on your screen you see his full statement on your screen. And as we scroll down, you'll see it's a direct statement, no fooling around with those words, and pretty incredible that we would even be having this discussion. But there you go. that is what is happening in this bizarro world that we live in. And as if that wasn't enough, here's a final tweet on your screen from S.E. Cupp, who works with CNN and who's an author. And S.E. Cupp writes, after doubling down on her mask and vax Holocaust comparisons this morning, Marjorie Taylor Greene thought it a good idea to target two prominent Jewish members of the media, Ben Shapiro and Jake Sherman. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene responding to Jake Sherman on your screen, saying, "You are a liar. Stop twisting my words." And here's another tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene. By the way, this is a publicly elected official earning a salary well over six figures, lashing out at other Jewish journalists as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Pretty bizarre world we find ourselves in, where we have Republican talking about statues and drawing these kinds of comparisons and then doubling down on them, as opposed to addressing sensitivities in our country, and as opposed to addressing sensitivities pertaining to this horrific pandemic. This is just unfortunate. This is where we are. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you learned something new from this video, please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I want you to know my team and I work very hard on this channel, and we look forward to working with you. We appreciate you. We'll see you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.